cuties. I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital edition. All right, guys. We're gonna just jump right into it. Today is Tuesday, August the 30th, 2022. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one an 8. It was pretty solid to me. Now there was a lot of moving around, so please try to stay with me. It was a lot of people moving today. All right, we see Drew and Brooklyn, they are being interrogated. Well, not interrogated, but they're being questioned about their whereabouts that night. And so they're talking, and Drew is having flashbacks of when he was with Carly. And so Brooklyn is just like, why are you so antsy? He said, well, I want to check on Carly. I want to check on Joss, make sure they're all okay and everything. And Brooklyn said, no, there's more to it. I know you like Carly or whatever. And she said, don't be like me. I took forever. She said, but finally, Chase and I are in agreement that we're, in a relationship. And I said, well, Lord, it took a while to happen, but y'all finally are moved on. And I'm going to try to get back into that romance with you and Chase, Brooklyn, because I'm not going to lie to you. I fell out of it a little bit. I felt the interest for me. It was no longer, but I'm going to try to get back into this. And I've made a decision to try to get into this romance with Drew and Carly. Y'all are giving me that storyline. I'm going to try to see it. I'm going to try to stop looking at you two as brothers and sisters, best friends, and look at this as a romance. But Brooklyn tells Drew, just be patient with Carly and whatnot. And I said, oh God, please don't please don't put them through this long thing, which y'all did with Brooklyn and Chase, because, I'm already not interested in Drew and Carly. If y'all do that, I'm already blacking out during their scenes. I don't know, but let's move on. So we see Victor and Spencer. Baby, Spencer is laid out. He has had a rough night. He has checked himself into Metro Court under, what did he say, Daffy Duck? Or he said some kind of cartoon character. I said, Spencer, really? He said, well, Carly banned me. Olivia has a long memory, an elephant memory. So, I had to do what I had to do. But anyways, he got a room there. Victor has come to see him, and they show Spencer has taken a shower. He's taking some meds because he's dealing with a hangover. So Victor said, how do you feel about Ava? They both asked how you feel about Ava. They don't care. They don't really care about that. But Spencer accuses Victor of having it done. And Victor said, you are just as guilty as I am. But Spencer says, listen, first of all, Ava didn't do anything to me. She's giving me my allowance. Then she turned around. She wasn't really trying to tell him about what happened between Esme and Nicholas. And he knows that. He says, he's mad at his father, not Ava. Ava didn't sleep with Esme. Ava had, he doesn't care that much about Ava to try to do this to her. Plus, Trina loves Ava. He said, so I have no reason to attack Ava. I would have been attacking my father or whatever. He said, plus I was throwing up in the azaleas at the time. And so Victor says, I would have never done it and not given you an alibi. And on top of that, left her alive. And so they're like, well, maybe it's Dad we should be worried about. And Nicholas is pretty much like, I don't give a care. I mean, Spencer's like, I don't give a care about Nicholas. I don't care. If he gets caught, if he did this and he gets caught, it is what it is. And Victor is trying to tell him, don't be like that or whatever. He says, I'll make it worth your while. And he said, well, tell me how you're going to make it. I needs to know. Tell me how you're going to make it worth my while. And he says, well, I guess he'll give him his inheritance, what's his due. He said, well, what you going to do about Ava? He said, you leave Ava to me if she wakes up. I said, boy, don't you go in there trying to hurt my girl, but who knows? And Spencer says, well, I don't care about none of this. I gotta go. I'm gonna go and check on Trina because she's probably heard about Ava by now. And he's like, Victor is like, sir, what? And he says, I don't have time for this. I'm gone. So then we see Finn and Elizabeth. All right, let me act like I'm interested in this storyline. We see Finn and Elizabeth is still upset with Finn about, reaching out to her sister. She said, I drew a hard line with you on that. I told you I didn't want you doing that, and you did it anyways. How am I supposed to feel about you? I said, well, I understand, Elizabeth, but it pains me to say this because y'all know how I feel about Finn. Girl, you need somebody to reach out to somebody. You like you got some things going on with you, and you're not getting them fixed. Like you're not. Elizabeth killed somebody. Elizabeth done killed this young lady because she was messing with her daddy, and I don't mean like I don't mean that her. I think. I think Elizabeth was one of those jealous. I don't know, but it seems like she was might have been one of those jealous. You know how some girls love their dad because she was mad at this little girl for messing with her dad. So either she was one of those girls that loved her dad, and she was like, "No, he's with my mom, and that's my dad or whatever," and pushed the girl. Or Elizabeth was like, "Hey, stop messing with my dad," and pushed her. But either way, I think Elizabeth done pushed her friend, and they covered it up, and she's repressed that memory deep down, and it's coming back to resurface for her. That's what I think is happening with Elizabeth. And until she deals with that, goes in deep and deals with that, you're gonna keep having blackout moments like, ma'am, you cannot be in this hospital having these moments. You need to go and get yourself fixed. And as much as it pains me, because Finn done got on my nerves, and Finn is right. You need to go get help, mama, and see what's going on with you. And once you are all better and figured this out, then come back. And so she's about to tell Finn, she's like, "Oh my God, Finn, something happened last night." And when she was about to tell him, Jordan comes. And so she tells them, I'm just questioning everybody who's there. It won't take me long. Where were you at between? Because they've narrowed it down the time that they think Ava was attacked or whatever. And so Finn was like, around that time I was talking to Maxie, and Elizabeth, she don't really know, because around that time she was blacking out. Some of you think Elizabeth did this. I personally don't think so. I think this is Esme, but I don't know, because I thought it was Sarah who killed Abigail, and I have no clue who killed Abigail over there on Days of Our Lives. I'm just as confused. So I don't know if Elizabeth blacked out and accidentally did this. I just don't see her doing this, but she could have. It's a possibility. They're setting it up as like she's a suspect. She could possibly be a suspect. So who knows? But anyways, I don't know how they know because I've been at parties, right? And I don't know what time it is. Like when you're at a family gathering, I don't pay attention. Well, I don't wear a watch either. So I don't pay attention to the time. So I wouldn't have been able to tell you what I was doing at that time. But other people do. So okay, let's move on, y'all. So she's going to finish questioning Elizabeth about where she was tomorrow. So we see Carly and Joss, and she gives Joss a cup of coffee, and Joss is like, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you went through that." She says, like, Ava's not my favorite person, but oh my gosh, like she was so afraid. And she said her last moment, she just wanted me to hold her hand and not to leave her alone. And Carly was like, "Oh my gosh, baby," and everything. And she was like, Dex was so good. Like he helped her. He saved her life and everything. And she says, and now we have to tell Trina, because she says, I don't even think Trina knows. So Trina, who is looking as cute as a Barbie doll today, she comes through and she's like, "Oh my gosh, y'all, my Title IX, they apologized to me. I'm reinstated in school and everything, so she can go back to college." So it's been a great morning for her. So then they have to tell Trina. They don't show us that they told Trina, but when they come back, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go see Ava." And Josh is like, "Let me go get dressed, and then you can go see her or whatever." And she's like, "Okay." And so then Trina and Carly talks, and she just like, "Oh my gosh, Avery." She was like, "Avery spent the night here last night." And she was just talking and everything, just about how Avery is lucky to have Carly in her life. And Carly said, "I would protect her like my own." And they was just talking. It was a sweet little conversation where Carly was reassuring Trina that Ava was going to be fine. And they're just, Trina feels bad. She feels guilty. Like, I was sitting up, about my stupid decision about college. And Carly was like, "No, don't think that." First of all, Ava would not want you thinking that. Like, she would want to know that you're getting to go back to college and all that kind of stuff, and that is a huge thing for you, so it's okay to be happy that you got to go to college and took care of that. And then now about Ava, and there's something you can do, because she couldn't have done anything at the hospital for Ava anyway. So then Joss and Avery come down or whatever. And Avery's so cute, y'all. So Avery comes down and they're all talking or whatever. And she's like, she wants pancakes. And so Sonny comes in and he's like, oh, I can make you my chocolate chip pancakes. And she was like, okay, daddy. And then she was like, is mommy coming over? But before, and he's like, what? No, she's not coming over. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make you these pancakes, but you gotta get dressed, wash your face, and everything. She's like, okay. So then Sonny talks to Joss. He asks her how she is, and she says she's good. How is Ava? And she says tells them I got a phone call on the way over that Ava is she's out in ICU now. She's out of surgery. She's going to ICU and everything. And they're like, I'm going to go sit, Trina's like, I want to see her. And so he tells them, Dex is outside waiting on me. Y'all take Dex and make, he going to stay with y'all and make sure you're good and everything. And they were like, okay, or whatever. So, and she was like, Trina just told Sonny, thank you so much. And he was like, no problem. So then Sonny talks to Carly and he says, sorry for just, coming over. She said, no, these are circumstances. I get it. And she tell him, you stayed at the hospital all night? Because he was at the hospital all night with Nina or whatever. Plus, I mean, Ava is the mother of his child. And he was like, yeah, I was there all night. And she don't say anything. She just was like, okay. And so he was like, do you mind? And she was like, go ahead and make these chocolate pancakes or whatever, because we got to tell Avery. So they look at each other and then they tell Avery, because they're like, she was like, is mommy going to come over for breakfast? And he was like, no, mommy got hurt last night, and, they're working on her to get better and everything. And she was like, well, then I think she called him Daddy Nicholas or Papa Nicholas. She was like, I want to talk to him now. Like, let me speak to him. And they were like, but Sonny was good about it. He said, you know what? Take this last bite and I'll take you. And Carly was like, you can use my car. And so he was like, all right, cool. So he was like, I'll take you and you can go see Nicholas and everything. And so at that point, everybody's left. Carly's cleaning up her kitchen and Drew comes in. I say, Carly, can you please close those chocolate chips before you put them in the cabinet? That's me. I'm looking at stuff like that. Like, why is that bothering you? I don't know, but it did. I'm like, close those. But anyways, Drew comes by and they both say they've been thinking about the kids and what happened between them. Well, it was more than the kids' job that they was trying to do, but they've been thinking about it and what happened between them. I'm trying to get into this romance. I'm trying to get into this romance with these two. But they were thinking about the kids. They like they're thinking about each other and let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. Baby, we see Nicholas going off on the nurse talking about he ain't heard nothing about his wife and he needs to know what is going on. Nicholas, I don't like the way he be talking to people. And you know what I realized? I love me some Ava and Nicholas. You know what? I like the man who plays Nicholas. He's very funny to me on like social media. But as far as Nicholas, I've never really cared for him, even when it was Christopher. Was it Tyler Christopher? Yeah, even when it was him, I never cared for Nicholas because to me he was like this jerk. and so it's hard. And so I realized that I don't particularly care for Nicholas, but I like him with Ava and I like Ava with him. Does that make sense? I don't really care for him, but when he's with Ava, I like them together because they have so much chemistry that I like it. Okay, let's move on, Nikki. Anyway, she tells Nicholas, Jordan tells Nicholas, Mr. Cassidy, what's going on? And he was like, I haven't heard anything about my wife. She's been in surgery for hours and nobody's updated me. And she says, let me try to get some information or whatever. So Nina and Sonny are there. And they are there, and because Nina, she wasn't gonna leave her best friend's side, and then Sonny is not gonna leave Nina there at the hospital all night long. But they're just there trying to find out information on Ava. So then they walk up to Nicholas, and he don't want Sonny there. And Nicholas and Sonny like, listen, Nina is her best friend. I'm here to support her, and on top of that, Ava is the mother of my child, so I'm here for that. So and Nicholas said,